Have you ever noticed something strange? The harder some men try to win a woman over, the more she seems to pull away. They text first, reply within seconds, change their schedule, cancel plans, always make themselves available. And they do all of this believing effort creates connection. But then something happens that makes no sense. There's another guy. He doesn't force conversations. He doesn't beg for attention. He doesn't seem desperate. And somehow, she thinks about him. So here's the question. Why? Why do some men do everything right and still become invisible? Maybe the problem was never doing too little. Maybe it was doing too much. And today, you're about to understand something most men learn far too late. You think you're chasing a woman, but many times, you're not chasing her. You're chasing the feeling of being chosen, the feeling of being enough, the feeling of finally hearing, "You matter." And that changes everything. Because when you need her response to feel okay, you give away something dangerous, control over your emotional life. No one notices when it starts. First, you reply fast. Then you wait for her texts. Then you think about her all day. Then you change your priorities. And one day, something happens. Your entire routine begins revolving around someone else. You never planned it. It just happened slowly. And that's exactly where many men begin disappearing. Men often listen to words. Women usually watch behavior. They notice insecurity. They notice neediness. They notice when someone is trying too hard, even when you say nothing. Because people feel energy before they understand logic. And no one feels deeply attracted to someone who seems emotionally dependent. Think about the men who leave a lasting impression. Usually, they aren't the richest, not the most attractive, not the ones texting all day. It's the man who carries presence. The man who feels complete. Who has a life of his own. Who doesn't enter a relationship and abandon himself. And that isn't a game, that's identity. Now, here's an honest question. Do you want her? Or do you want the feeling you get when she chooses you? Because there's a difference. Sometimes you're not suffering because of the woman. You're suffering because of validation. And once you realize that, you start seeing everything differently. Now, this is important because everyone says be confident. But almost nobody explains where confidence actually comes from. Confidence isn't only mental. It comes from how you feel, your energy, your drive, the way you see yourself, the way you feel as a man. Because when a man doesn't feel good about himself, it shows in his eyes, in his posture, in his voice, in his presence. And many men try solving that by learning lines, techniques, and text messages. When maybe the problem is somewhere deeper. So stop chasing her. Start chasing your direction again. Your goals, your purpose, your own life. Because something interesting happens. When a man starts respecting himself again, people notice. And he notices too. Recently, I came across something interesting about masculine confidence, energy, and presence. Because I realized many men spend years trying to change their behavior without paying attention to how they actually feel about themselves. And honestly, that hit hard. I left it in the description. Take a look after the video. It might be one of those things you wish you had discovered years ago. And if this video made you think, there's more coming. And before you leave, if this video made you realize something about yourself, if even one part of it felt uncomfortably true, then subscribe to the channel. Because most men spend years trying to understand women while never understanding themselves. And this channel isn't about cheap tricks, mind games, or fake confidence. It's about becoming the kind of man who no longer needs to chase, so subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.